All right, ladies and gentlemen, big news out of NuScale Power. NuScale has decided to delay its fourth quarter earnings until later this next week, precisely 7 days. A lot of you may be asking, why would they do this? Seems like a bad sign, right? Well, I think that the evidence points to something else going on. Before I get into it, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do not speculate based off of my ideas expressed. I'm just a guy sitting in my apartment who does research for fun. So, certainly not a professional. Now, getting into it, what's going on here? Well, last week in Fluor's fourth quarter earnings conference call, a very interesting question was asked. Fluor obviously is the owner of NuScale. They own about 50% of the shares outstanding. And they have been for many quarters trying to monetize this asset. Now, we know Fluor has a term sheet in place with the strategic investor and that they were moving closer and closer to monetization. The question that was asked is what is going on with the timing, broadly speaking? And the most interesting piece of Fluor's current CEO's explanation is he says that the work is continuing and we're positive about NuScale's monetization. In fact, I will be meeting personally later this week to continue the discussion. So we'll give you more information as it becomes available. Now, just 1 week later, NuScale has decided to delay their earnings call. So I think most people here will put two and two together that the outcome of the meeting was very positive, and NuScale has delayed the earnings conference call because they're preparing to release some information regarding the meeting. And in my opinion, the strategic investor is very likely to be announced. Now, who cares, right? Isn't this just Fluor selling a piece of equity in NuScale? What does it matter? Well, I think a lot of you don't realize who the potential strategic investor is. And to that, I will move to, again, Fluor CEO David Constable's comments from the previous earnings call, not the one that took place last week, the one before that. And here he says that they did a study for a specific client and it's putting them in a value position ahead of the competition. In fact, potentially putting Fluor in a sole source position for a large number of data centers with a tech company that you would certainly know the name of. In other words, Fluor is looking at being in a sole source position to build data centers for a large tech company that we would know the name of. So large tech companies that we know the name of, well, I can think of Amazon, I could think of Google, I could think of Microsoft, et cetera, et cetera. In previous comments, Fluor has said that they see SMRs as being very good for data center deployments. And I think what this really points to is why would a major tech company go to Fluor, a construction company, to be the sole source builder for their data centers? It doesn't make any sense. You would go to many different engineering and construction companies to bid them against each other and try to win an edge. But really, what's going on here is Fluor will be building the SMR to power the data centers. That's part of their agreement with NuScale. And because of this, they're already going to have assets deployed to the data center site. So why wouldn't you use the same assets to build the data center while you're at it? I also think that this is potentially something that the data center company put in the deal for NuScale Power to make the proposal more lucrative, right? Because if you're Fluor, you're saying, well, I'm going to give up future earnings from NuScale because I'm going to sell most of my equity. But in exchange, at least I have this AI data center play that should give us work for the future. So it's a very interesting vehicle for Fluor to get contracts. I would definitely look out next week on March 3rd when NuScale announces their earnings. Make sure that you look at the customer. Pretty sure it's going to be a tech company. That's just my idea. Don't take my word for it because don't blame me if you lose money. I feel like I always need to say that. But this is also coming from the same guy who predicted the NuScale SPAC out of Fluor. So I do have a track record for these things. Without further ado, thank you very much for listening. Hope you have a nice day.